Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is the 12th of April, 2025. Another Saturday. Here we go. Check out the hat, Harlem Renz. You know I got to represent Harlem World every day, all day. Baltimore still the same. This is what I do. Um, not action packed, jam packed show for you all this week. A lot going on. If you saw or you dare check without having a heart attack, your 401k after the market took the plunges that happened this week due to the trade wars with China that the president has sparked with his policies and tariffs, which he since rescinded on Wednesday. I thought it was going to be Tuesday, to be honest with you. And it put another hitch in my perception or my concept of what's going on right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I want to talk about still aircraft flying out. I'm sorry, not flying, falling out of the sky. We had a Cessna crash in Boca Raton, Florida, helicopter crash in New York, in the Hudson. So definitely want to talk about those things as well. I want to send my condolences, start this a little early, to my nephew. He lost his sister, one of his sisters, and definitely wanted to send it out to him. He's going through it. He's lost his mother, his grandmother, a couple of uncles, a whole lot in the last couple of years. So I definitely wanted to uplift that young man. In addition, though, the Supreme Court of the United States of America has gone, I don't want to say nutso nor schizo, but a number of their rulings I've really been paying attention to. You know, the House passed a measure to limit the powers of the judicial branch Thursday. They really want to curb what judges can do or cannot do as they try to hold off the agenda of the current administration. That is a problem for us. A friend of mine called me yesterday and he was put off by all the things that are going on. We'll get into that. But one of the things that I told him was, our system was not designed for someone to come in and do the things that this current administration wants to do. It's not set up that way. Our system is designed to truly maintain the Constitution, to truly maintain a degree of law and order. Now, we all know that there have been folks that have been put on the outs by our Constitution and by the quote unquote rule of law or law and order in this nation. But as a baseline, that is really the way our system is designed. And when you go outside of that, when you start attacking the system from within, it's really not set up to do that. There's no defense from that. Elections have consequences, and we're dealing with the consequences of the past election. Morning, Sister Rashi. We're dealing with the consequences of the past election. And that's why we are where we are, doing what we're doing and going through the things that we're going through. I want to step back for a second and start off like we normally start off. I've been distracted as of late. Got a huge project going on at work, huge. That's coming to the end. The whole thing comes down this week, and thank God for that. Well, next week, I should say. Thank God for that, because it has been taxing. In that, though, I've noticed a couple of things about self. One thing is I don't sleep well on Friday nights. Brother Barry and I were talking about that not so long ago, because as he ended his show, we chatted up before he hops over and talks about and hops on our show, right? And one of the things that he noticed is that he too doesn't sleep well at night. Sister Rashi, I don't know how well you sleep Friday nights into Saturday mornings, but I know
I
that
can get my rest. I get it.
okay, I can say that I'm usually extremely antsy about the shows, plural. because normally I'm on with Thomas in some way or another during his show, and then we turn around and do our show. And he was saying that he is suffering from the same thing. That ain't good when you get older. As the Sister Rashi just said, you need your proper rest. For real, for real. But not only that, just think about the sheer amount of information that we're trying to share in a 2 hour span. Uh, Rodney Smith said last week that a lot of people that he's heard from about the show say that this is one of their repeated sources of information. And there's a lot that we tend to cover. I heard from a young lady that supports the show not too long ago. She was like, "Yo, there's a lot of things you all talk about, and during the show." And I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "That's a lot of information. How do you keep it together?" And I said, "Well, number one, short and stubby pencil is better than a long memory any day of the week. So 9 times out of 10, I write little notes down so that we can stay on track. And then as we go through, normally the conversation will naturally transition from one topic to the next. So it's not really hard when you look at it like that. But keeping those topics in order are a challenge at times. And I understand that it's a huge dump of information that you get in a short amount of time from us. But you're going to get it from us the way that we receive it and the way that we think you should be open to taking a look at it. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be ugly, but it's going to be raw and it's going to be real. And you get it. The beauty of what we do is you get it from folks who live at different intervals throughout the country. So our biases may very well be tilted because of where we live, right? But then you get pretty much all four corners of the nation in our biases and from our tape because the way we receive it is locally. And then we're able to give it to you at one point, and then you can chop it and chew it and take it from there. So again, that angst, that that fire, that desire to get all that information out at once, is huge. And it's also draining. So I don't know about, again, Sister Rashi, I don't know about you, Brother Barry, but after the show, I'm tired. I usually try to take a nap. And if I don't take a nap, I'm definitely coming down because it's a lot. And trying to get all of that out that you've been holding in all daggone week, for me, it takes a toll on me. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Sis, how does it hit you? Like
Well, you
after the
need to
show, and you just
understand.
like,
You need to understand that I work one on concrete. Schools are built on concrete, right? Then I intercept in a day
can't hear you.
up to 65 children per day. Then I talk to
Rashi,
Can't hear you, Rashi.
are you moving around?
Rashi. Yeah, you can't hear you.
Can you
Yeah,
hear me
I can
now?
see you. I can see your hair, but I can't hear you.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you now. Go ahead.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, we get you better now.
Oh, I'm so
Yes, can hear you.
sorry. I
Yes, ma'am.
apologize. Well, let me get this ghoulish camera
It's
off.
okay.
Okay. So I work on a concrete slab, and I have to speak to at least 65 children. I get paid to talk to them children. And then I
Mm.
have at least 20 adults that I interface with. Two of them are above my pay, well above my pay grade. That's when I get home, my burnout is not necessarily how am I going to get with my brothers tomorrow and disseminate information to help grease the tracks of the liberation struggle. That's the easy part. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I'm going to fail foreign nationals for not doing my work. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to show up at this special needs boy's house to see what's going
Got
on there, because it's the behavior is so off. Somebody got to be hitting him in the head with a hammer when he at home. That's what wear me down, honestly.
gotcha.
Educational runoff or fallout, or
Okay,
what do you call it?
that's
What do
fair.
you call it when you set up a bomb and the collateral damage that's left? That's what keep me up. But eventually, I drink just enough rum to go to sleep, and I wake up the next day ready to do battle with you all, because if I could just have my own show on talking about education, I could do this alone, just talking about education only every week, okay, for at least 2 or 3 years before I start running out of content. So I don't have any problem breaking my fast and coming here and being with my brothers who have said that they appreciate my commentary. That's not my problem. My problem is when a 12-year-old little boy tell me to shut the fuck up talking to him, because I asked him to read sentence number 3. So yeah, I don't have any angst. Y'all are intelligent brothers, and y'all do y'all's work. And so
I
when
don't
I
know
sit here, when I
what's
come to
going
the
on.
show, I'm
Okay,
loaded.
I don't know what's going on my feed, but it's a little. I wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to overtalk you, sis. I was just saying I don't know what's going on. Gotcha.
Well, I
I
was
wasn't
done.
trying to
I was
overtalk you,
done.
sis. I
Go
was just
ahead.
saying
Go
my
ahead, my
feed is
brother. I was
choppy at
done.
times, so forgive me if I
No, sir, I'm done. Go ahead.
forgive me if I'm coming across like a. I got you. If I'm choppy. So Thomas, you and I were talking about not sleeping on Fridays and the Saturdays. Are you worn down sometimes after both shows?
Oh man, I go to sleep.
You need a nap.
No, I do because I don't typically get to bed to probably about 2 or 3. Then I wake up about 7:30, and then I do both shows back to back. And so by noon, I'm like cooked, man. And so I have to get a nap in order to enjoy the rest of my Saturday, which everybody else is up moving around, and my phone will get to buzzing, and I'm like, shit, man. I'm trying to recover. And and it's not just these shows. It was happening when I was on
Right.
Camo J too. And if I could even think about when I was recording my Fridays, because we would record typically on Saturdays, we would do like 8-hour studio sessions. I'd be up writing too. So I think it's just like this creative thing, this creative process where it's a level of anxiousness, but it's
Right.
also later. I'm up studying too, reading articles and researching, and so. But I'm gonna get my health together, man. I think I'm gonna start working out Friday nights so that I can be tired by the time it's time to get into bed. And some of that creativity gonna have to wait because my body and my mind is gonna be meeting together saying, no, sleep, sleep, sleep. And so I think that's what I'm gonna do. And now we might have
Right.
to I might have to rework move the rant back to Tuesday just so I can get so I can get my sleep in.
Really?
Hey, listen, man, it was originally Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't have anxiousness on Tuesdays. I didn't have no anxiousness on Tuesdays as far as my sleep. My work schedule was my work schedule, and I would just get home and
Hey, what
uh,
works? Great.
yeah, man. So I had to figure it out. What's up? Hey, but shout out to my new internet company because
Okay,
my
that's fair.
my picture
Well,
looks a
we
lot
know
clearer.
Rodney, and um,
Oh,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
done.
bro.
I was done.
I froze out. I didn't hear you. You say it
Oh,
one
I
more
was
time. Shout
saying
out to who?
shout out to my new
Oh, okay.
my new internet company
I was
because my
saying,
picture was more clear.
I gotta figure out what is going on. Why I'm so gotcha. Rodney, we were talking about you this morning when we were talking about the not being able to sleep, and I was like, maybe that's Rodney's issue. I don't know what's going on, but Rodney says all the time that he be reading all at night all the time. So I don't, you know, Rodney, maybe you need to work out at night too.
When I was in service, I used to work out at night. 9 o'clock, I was going to the gym. But
Mm.
and I've actually thought about that here, but that was 17, 18 years ago when I was in service. I've been retired that long, Lee. So I don't know if I can do that now, but it is a thought. And it's not that I cannot go to sleep, because I can go to sleep in broad daylight anytime. I can just go to sleep. Is
True.
is wanting to go to sleep. I don't have the desire.
Okay, I can respect that. Um, Speaking of desires, wants, sleep, you retired. A lot of people took a huge hit this week on their 401ks because of what the stock market did. Now, yes, it had its third largest rebound day ever in history, but let's not forget that that rebound happened because it had one of the largest collapses in history as well, which was not because of a terroristic event. It wasn't because of epidemic, a pandemic. It was because of the policies of the current president of the United States of America and him directing that tariffs be raised across the board to all trading countries that the United States participates in, I'm sorry, also to some territories or some countries that only have animals on them. Don't know how they got caught up in the mix, but they
Oh, you
did.
mean the penguins?
And because of this, we, well, yeah, the Penguins, I guess we need, maybe it's another movie coming from them or something. Maybe he was confused. I have no idea.
I
But
know what it was, Lee. It's because it looks like
with
they have tuxedos on.
the lack of understanding that is taking place and the lack of accountability for that lack of understanding is despicable. It's downright despicable.
Hmm.
There's no other way to describe it, in my opinion. You know, you have folk out here, riding to your point, right? You've been retired now nearly 20 years. But there are folk out here who are on the doorstep of being able to retire. And because of those inactions, I'm sorry, because of those actions, they have had to reassess if they can actually do that. And think about this. This cat ain't even been in office for 6 months. If he's behaving like this in his first 90 days, are they solvent enough? Do they have enough liquidity to really retire anywhere between now and the time he leaves office? If he leaves office, I'm gonna beat you to the punch this time, Rodney. If he leaves office when he's supposed to leave office, do they feel that they are prepared to do that? Would you feel that you are prepared to do that? Would you feel that, I mean, again, if your plan was, hey man, I done did the work, I made sure I was good, I'm a punch at 62 because I'm trying to really live for 15, 20 years before I punch that clock. And now you're 61 or you're 60 or you're 58 or you're 59 and you're like, woo, hold on, I may need to work till I'm 65. And what happens when you're 65? Maybe you need to work till you're 70. Is this thing literally being set up to where we work ourselves to death? Not just figuratively, but literally. We literally work until someone comes along to collect the body to put in the casket. Because I don't see it any other way. I really don't see it any other way. And how is that anywhere close to the American dream? Freak the house. The house is important, but freak the house. Where is the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness part of that? Seriously, let's talk about that. Rodney, if this were a time 20 years ago ish, would you have punched and said, I'm good, I'm gonna sit down, or would you have thought secondly about that and said, maybe I need to stick around a little longer?
So if you're asking if today's time was back then, would I have stuck around because of the economic outlook right now?
Yes, sir.
Definitely, I would. I would have stayed in service. But to your
Yes, sir.
point, Lee, the dude from Doge said that you shouldn't even be thinking about retiring. I think until you get 72. He says, "Why should you retire? What are you going to do?" Just because he's a billionaire and doesn't really put in any real work. But he says, "Why would anybody want to retire? And if you are going to retire, it should be 72." If you look at what they're doing in Florida, where they're trying to make the minimum work age, I think 10 or something like that. So pretty much what they're saying to us is they want to work us from when we're children into our senior years if we live that long. Well, a reality is the longer that a person works, the harder it is for a new person in the job market to get a job. So there is nothing good about what they are trying to do. And hopefully, the majority of the American people will realize that and rise up. Like what was it? 1789 for the French Revolution? I'm gonna have to fact check myself on that. But we may have to rise up like the French or what's it, 1749? Yeah, we may have to rise up like the French Revolution and hoist their petards into the Bastille where they belong.
I was looking at something. I'm gonna ask everybody that. I'm gonna throw this in as we discuss though. I was looking at something the other day because you were saying hopefully the American people will rise up. Do you recognize and realize that this midterm election, nearly every congressional seat will be up for re-election?
Well,
House
every
side.
House seat will
On the
be up.
Senate side, I believe. Right. I think the Senate there are 30 something seats. I'll fact check myself to make sure.
One
But there are
third of the
30 or
Senate.
40 something seats in the House that okay. So you're talking about a potential tsunami, not a blue wave, but a tsunami coming during this midterm election. I think that is really weighing in these people's heads, but I don't want to go too far in that. We can circle back to that. Sister Raj, retirement. Would you, in fact, retire at this point? I mean, you've put the work in,
Yeah,
you've built your nest egg. Would you feel comfortable saying that you're
I,
going to retire now, or
I've
would you
actually
hold on
already
for a
retired.
couple of years until the cat is out of office?
I've actually already retired. I started with
Okay.
retirement. What? No, okay, look. I just one of the subjects of our shows back in the day was me looking for work. I graduated. I did everything they told me to do. I went to college. I graduated. All that, right? And I still could not. I looked for a job for almost 4 or 5 years. So I considered the years where I was taking less than full time classes and chilling, raising my, because I got to raise my children. I got to walk my son to school. And I was able to do homework, with my daughter. So I consider myself pre retired. And now that they're all grown and going off and having children, now I get to work wherever I want, however long I want to work for whoever, because all the angst of raising my family, is now gone. So I definitely retired. I traveled. I was in Africa a few times. I have, uh, I did a health initiative where I lost about 100 and so pounds. And so I even stopped uh, drinking as bad as I was drinking. I actually fixed that back in the day for a little while until I got into the classroom. So I had retired, fellas. I was writing. I was making money braiding hair, and I did not have a conventional 9 to 5 get up. And not only that, I was sucking Uncle Sam dry. Come on, I had food stamps. I had Medicaid. I had Section 8. I had, come on, name it. And if I hurried up and got in the line, they would pay the bills. I went to the food pantry. You hear what I took advantage of my retirement because I knew it wasn't me one retired. You're gonna hear my little mama here in the background. But we were a retired family, if you must. So I went ahead and did everything I could. Little girl, gone. I went. Hello, can you hear me?
Mhm.
She over here making so much noise. She's
Thomas.
so out.
Yes, sir. What's up, Lee? Is Lee lagging?
Yeah, Lee's lagging again.
Okay. I guess I'll answer.
Yeah, I was asking you, Thomas. Same question to you.
Probably not. I'm always gonna be busy. I'm probably gonna be one of those people working till I'm dead, just because of my creativity and always trying to innovative. I'll just go from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another. Busy work. That's just who I am. I'm always find something. I'm always gonna be in the midst of something. Like Rodney. Rodney ain't retired. He out passing out food. So you can't call that retired. I mean, he's doing more. He's probably more stressed out doing that than he was in the military. So, in this country, it's really hard when you find yourself a black man in the community trying to better everyone else. You can't retire because there's still people that need you. Unless you can ignore now, unless you got some cool vacation property in the Caribbean and you an empty nester and you're looking to just tune out the world. But outside of that, if you're still involved, you won't be retired much.
Brother Barry, you bring up an interesting point about retirement. Maybe what is retirement? Because I am retired. Now, my children do not believe that I'm retired because my daughter says I work as many hours as I did when I used to